This is such a ridiculous amount of books. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bookish Daddy. Today we are going to be doing a book haul. But before I get into like all these books, just know that this is not like I went out and bought all these books in like one day or not even 1 month. So this is a couple months. It is everything from gifts sent by y'all, birthdays, holidays, some of my wife's books, book club, trading books, giveaway winnings. It's a lot of different types of books. This was not me just going out one day and buying 50 plus books. It's a lot. That being said, with how many books this is, I forewarn you, I do not know all of these books. So you may see me reading the backs, asking my wife for help. I'll do my best to show you, explain, and make this a somewhat short watchable video. I don't want it to be like an hour long. Before we get into this, thank you all so much for watching all my content, for everything. Make sure that if you are enjoying it, you like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. It really helps the channel, and I hope you enjoy this video. So we're going to get into this very long video. The first set of books is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and it was a gift. This is a YA paranormal fantasy set, and it is older. So one of our family members has read all of these, and it is a huge series and highly recommended it. I kind of looked into it and saw that it kind of gave off YA Supernatural vibes, if you've seen that TV show. And it's because it has demons, werewolves, vampires. And yeah, so that is this series, and I cannot wait to read them. Next is my current read, and it is Brood in Magic by Jenna Wolfhart. Jenna Wolfhart is an amazing author. I love her books. This is the only series I've read. This is book 2 to Forged by Magic, a Falling for Fables novel. Dude, these are freaking cute. It is a cozy romantasy, and I will warn you, it does have spice. This one, I haven't got to it yet. I'm halfway through, but the first book it has some pretty filthy scenes in it. So if you are not into orcs and elves doing all kinds of nonsense, be warned, that is in it. There is no real violence. Like I said, it is pretty cozy, but it is cozy with a lot of spice. And they are, oh man, they are phenomenally written, and they are so much fun to read. Next is a book I just finished, and that is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This was my first V.E. Schwab book. I'll do my best to describe this. It's very hard to without giving anything away, so this will be kind of vague and weird, but it's a very vague and weird book. So this is about an orphan, and out of nowhere, she gets a letter at her orphanage that says, hey, this is your uncle. We've been expecting you. I'm sending a car to pick you up. She gets in, goes to this huge, weird, creepy mansion. And when she gets to the door, the woman and child that answer the door say that you didn't receive this letter. My uncle's been dead for lots and lots of years. They burn the letter, and then they're like, the sun's coming down, get in real quick. And she comes inside. Quick backstory on her. This little girl sees ghouls and demons and monsters, but she's been seeing them since birth, so they don't really frighten her. But she starts noticing there's things in the house that this family is frightened of, whereas she is not. She's been seeing them her whole life. So she starts trying to unravel what's happening in this weird, creepy house. And it is freaking good. I loved it. I think I gave it 4 stars. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars was it is not my typical read. But if you're into dark, creepy books, it'll probably be a 5-star read for you. Next is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. And all I know about this is that it is dark academia. And that is really all I know about this book. So I think, let's see. Oh yeah, Dark Academia Mages. This next book is Rein and Ruin by J.D. Evans. All magic is beautiful, she said, and terrible. Do you not see the beauty in yours, or the terror in mine? You can stop a heart, and I can stop your breath. So she is the heir to a throne, and he is the unwanted prince. Then they both have powers to destroy. She is order and intellect, a woman fit to rule in a man's place, and he is chaos and violence. I mean, it sounds awesome, but I don't know much about this author or this book. This was a gift to my wife, I believe. The pages in it, though, were beautiful, and it sounds good. This next book I have seen everywhere, and I don't know much about it, unfortunately. So it is Fire and Metal series, Metal Slinger, by Rachel Schneider. This one, I believe, has to do with her falling for a soldier who is supposed to hate her, and yeah, her loyalties being tested in a new realm and a new world, and it is a romantasy. This next book, I think you've seen me talk about. It is Anathema by Carrie Lake. I have not read this yet, but One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns were one of my favorite duologies ever. This is supposed to be as good as, if not better, from what I'm told. And this is about a dark, gothic forest where sinners are sent to die. And this young lady who is forced to go out into this wilderness where there is a creepy assassin known as the Scorpion who lurks in these woods and kills people as they like come into them. And the forest itself is supposed to be like dark and creepy. Dude, I am so excited to read this because One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns were two of my favorite books ever. So I cannot wait to get into that book. The next two are a part of a series, and it is When in Rome by Sarah Adams and Practice Makes Perfect. These are both romance novels. This one is an opposites attract with a stranded pop star and a small town baker in a charming slice of romance. And this one is a small town sweetheart and an emotionally unavailable bad boy who try to find some common ground. I'm pretty sure he's a tatted up bodyguard. I love romance. I love the opposites attract, especially when it's like city girl, country boy. And I like the tatted up, bad boy and the sweet girl. So I'm excited about these. And I've heard that Sarah Adams is a phenomenal author. So I'm excited to read these. The next two is another set that goes together, and it is The Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Both of these descriptions are very weird to me. So they both sound good, but The 7-Year Slip is about a woman whose apartment is 7 years in the future, falling for a man in the apartment who is 7 years in the past. And so it has to do with time traveling, and I'm pretty sure it's a rom-com. So that sounds kind of weird. And then this one does too. So this is about this writer she's a ghostwriter for a major author, and they need some help. So they hire on another ghostwriter, and he's this big mountain of a man that she starts to fall for. And her dad dies back home. She goes to the funeral and sees that man's ghost and finds out that she's fallen for someone that has passed away or just passed away, and her dealing with that and maybe still able to like try and build a connection with him. Again, I've heard these were both phenomenal, especially The 7-Year Slip. I know a lot of you have recommended it, but that I don't know much more than that, and both the descriptions leave a lot to be desired. All right, the next book is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. So I have not read much Stephen King. The only two books I have ever read of his were the Dark Tower series, books 1 and 2, and I couldn't really get into them. I wasn't a fan of how weird they were. They were very weird. But this I have heard is phenomenal. This is one of my wife's most anticipated reads as well. This says that it is about a young boy who he's a top athlete. He's really good in school. When he turns 17, he starts working for this old man at the top of the hill who has a weird shed in his backyard. The old man and him start getting along really well. The old dude lives alone. The kid here and there is hearing creepy noises in this shed. And when the old man passes away, he leaves a key and a note to the boy saying that if he opens that door, there is a portal inside that leads to another realm. And of course, the boy does and finds out that it is another world that is full of terrors and danger and on the brink of terrible things happening. And he tries to save it along with our world. Uh, Everything I've heard is this is a phenomenal read. It's Stephen King. I mean, a lot of you hype him up as one of the best authors to ever live. So I figured this would be a good redemption for me reading one of his books. The next book is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. And this is a cozy court intrigue fantasy book. This is one of my wife's books, so I don't know too terribly much. The next one is one that my wife loves, and it is The Half King by Melissa Landers, and it is a beautiful book. It says, a kingdom of secrets, a palace of lies, and a curse that could shatter her world. The great betrayal that changed everything. Basically, a noble is cursed, and because of it, every firstborn born to the noble family has a new curse. This new man receives the worst affliction of all. For a while, the king will exist during the day, and at night he fades into nothingness. And then on his 21st birthday, he's supposed to be lost to the shadows forever. And then an acolyte in the court is supposed to save him. The next book is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Chakraborty. So this is a love triangle high fantasy, and that's really all my wife needed to know to buy this. She loves high fantasy and loves love triangles, and that is why we got this. Next is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. Oh, this book, I read the back of it, and it sounds different. It's about a dorm room love interest. This is one of my wife's books that was given to her as a gift. That being said, all of you that have sent gifts or have gifted some of these books, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, and we really appreciate it. Me and my wife love opening the books we get. It's super exciting, and it gives us obviously more books to read. So thank you again for any of you that have sent us anything. The next book is A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. In the cutthroat game of court life, masters manipulate pawns, and you never know which one you are. One thing is certain, there's no space on the board for love. I mean, say less. That sounds good. It's a big, thick book. It is supposed to be court politics and romantasy. A Kiss of Iron. Oh, this next book I am excited about. So this is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. And this says it is a brutal and inventive fantasy that is as addictive as it is horrifying. In every generation on this island, oh, that's right, triplets are born. And on this island, I don't know if it's a set rule or in the magic system, when triplets are born, all three have to fight to the death on their 16th birthday, and one winner emerges as the queen of this island. It sounds dark. It sounds phenomenal. Next is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, which I should know a lot about because it's been on my TBR forever. All I know is that this is about strong women leads and then being able to defeat all these creatures of mythology in this library. It almost gives off to me Page Master vibes, if you've seen that old cartoon, except with a strong female protagonist. The next book is The No-Show by Beth O'Leary. This was a weird reading on the back to synopsis. So this is one of my wife's books. It says 3 women fall for one man, but they unbeknownst to them. And then he stands them all up on Valentine's Day. They all 3 find out that they're falling for the same man, but instead of hating him or fighting each other, they all just fight harder for him. So I guess like The Bachelorette or Bachelor if you're into that type of book. I don't know much about Beth O'Leary either, but that sounds like a different concept to me. Bunch of women fighting over one man. Next is the Zodiac Academy, and this is probably my most anticipated read on this group of books. This is a dark academia paranormal fantasy series that I have heard nothing but good things about. And just the back, it says like a quick synopsis is in this deadly academy, vampires bite the weaker students in the corridors, the werewolves have orgies in the Welling Woods, and the sirens do all kinds of twisted things to people's emotions. Dude, I love academia, I love paranormal, and I love smut. So I'm very excited about this book. The next books are my wife's, and they are a cozy manga. She used to, back when we first got married, read a lot of manga and wanted to get back into it. One of her friends at the local bookstore highly recommended these, and she's loving them so far. She's bought them back to back to back and is breezing through them. It is the Hat Aelier by Kahome Shirahama. This is what those covers look like, and I know nothing about them other than it's cozy and that they eventually become a little less cozy and get a little more intense. Next is Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. Violet has never stepped foot on land. 600 years after the Nightweaver claimed human lands for their own, the ocean is a haven for 17-year-old Violet and her family. They are notorious pirates. They're known for being ruthless, killing everybody, and ruling the seas. And she starts to believe that they are untouchable. They mess with the wrong group on the open seas, and they let her know that that is not true. They end up, I think, killing her brother, taking her and her family captive, and she starts to realize that they may not be the biggest, baddest on the open sea. I love pirates, so I'm excited about that one too. And it's one of those velvety books. The next book is A Tribute of Fire by Soraya Wilson. There is only one rule: survive, and there's only one way to win. This one, it sounds like there is a temple where a bunch of handmaidens are raised worshiping this goddess, and at a certain age, 2 are picked to rush to the highest temple, and it is a game of death. The winner there gets the blessing, the loser dies, and it is about this girl who is picked as tribute to go through the maze and like try and find the temple at the other end. That is all I know about this book. These next books I know. So it is Legends and Latte by Travis Baldry and Bookshops and Bone Dust, and it is the pretty versions. I've explained these before, but for you newcomers, this is a cozy fantasy about an orc giving up her life of fighting and death to open this one's a coffee shop. I believe this is a bookshop, and her like giving up the life of killing to start a cozy life of making coffee, which is unknown in the land that she's moving to. Next is Court of the Vampire Queen. And I believe all I know about this is that it is a why choose vampire book. So 3 powerfully alluring vampire men and 1 queen to rule them all. Oh, it's why she should choose. Sounds interesting enough. I believe this is my wife's book. And this is the cover art for it.
How dare you?
And then on the edges it says, bow to your queen. It sounds good. These next 2 books are The Veld Kingdom and The Hunted Heir by Holly Renee. And this is those books. So these are about a girl whose dad is king, and she ends up go out on the streets walking around. No one knows who she is, but she's kidnapped by rebels who hate the king. They don't know that she is his daughter, but she ends up having to like choose between helping these rebels fight her father that they don't know is her father, or they're just going to kill her because she knows or saw too much. and it's her having to like pretend to be a part of this rebel group fighting her dad and the kingdom that she loves. And then of course they are romanticy, so I'm sure she'll start falling for one of the members of the crew. All right, so these next three I got as a book, part of a book exchange for our book club. And the first one is Alumini by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. All I know about this is it's supposed to be a creepy AI takeover fantasy or sci-fi book, and that is all I wanted to know. I wanted to go in pretty blind for this. The next one is Loathe to Love You, and this is by Ali Hazelwood. Again, this was a Valentine's Day book. Valentine's Day is coming up, and it's by Ali Hazelwood, who is one of my favorite romance authors. That is all I really know about this. I know it's going to be science romance because that's all she typically writes. And the third one is Annabelle Monaghan's Summer Romance. Benefits of a summer romance. It's always fun, always brief, and no one gets their heart broken. A bingeable 5-star read is what Abby Jimenez wrote on this. And that is why my wife was going for it. Abby Jimenez is one of her favorite authors. And yeah, so it's going to be good. Now, the rest of these books are my wife's birthday book haul. I know a lot of you have reached out to her and myself asking what she got and to show them off. So now is the chance I'm going to do this. These are all the books that she got or picked. The first book she got is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guazin. And it is a romantasy that has forbidden love and is supposed to have really intricate world building. She got it for the beautiful sprayed edges and colors as well. And that is all I know about that one. The next book is This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. This was a signed edition, and I know it's supposed to be a cozy romantasy. A lot of people compared it to Legends and Lattes, which is one of my wife's favorite books of all time. It probably is her favorite cozy book, and that's why she got this book. Next is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, and it is a princess pirate book. And it says, Princess, Pirate, Stowaway, Mermaid. The crew makes the queen. Me and my wife love pirate books, pirate movies, and pirates in general. As princess of the island kingdom Visidia, Amora Montara has spent her entire life training to be High Animancer, the master of souls. So she ends up having to go on this task, and in order to do so, she needs to ask this pirate for help. He says that he'll help her as long as she helps him get his magic back, and it's their tale of their treacherous journey across these seas. Next is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. This is the second book in a series. I believe it's the River Enchanted series, and that is why she got it, because we own the first book. Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This one sounds really cool. So the girl in this, the main protagonist, is supposed to become this some sort of like witch who ferries spirits across the dead realm, and she's wanted to do it her whole life. And then when she gets there, she finds out that in order to become this, she has to kill the man that she is supposed to be in love with. So these witches or whatever in this realm know who she's supposed to end up with, and all she has to do is go kill him, and then she'll be able to have the job. And it is her tale of going to try to find the man that she's supposed to love forever and kill him without even knowing who he is, and kind of her tale. Next is The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I told y'all this was going to be a long video. There's a lot of books. So this one on the back, Stephanie Garber, who is one of my wife's favorite authors, says that this is the new Queen of Fae, is what she says about Mary Pearson, and that this is supposed to be like one of the best fairy books she had ever written. And it is an addictive romance with dark secrets and dangerous fae. And that is why my wife picked it, because if Stephanie Garber is saying it's good, we're going to buy it. Next, An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Book 1 in a beloved series. Laia is a slave, Elias is a soldier, but neither is free. And I think that's exactly what this is about. It is about a slave girl to a kingdom. She is tasked eventually with going into the kingdom or castle and cleaning in there, and starts to fall for one of the soldiers. And unbeknownst to her, he secretly hates the kingdom as well and is already planning, different betrayals in his own way. And they kind of team up to take down this kingdom or corrupt system. All right, these next three is The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen. Danielle, I'm assuming. Those are these books. A heart-pounding romance, intense action wrapped in spell-binding worlds. I was hooked from the first page. It begins in a sweeping, sizzling fantasy romance filled with political intrigue. And that right there is why we have these. So my wife loves political intrigue and romantasy, and so it was a no-brainer. The last two behemoths of books is The Prairie of Orange Tree and its prequel, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I know that these are just high fantasy dragon books, and my wife has been wanting these forever. So on her birthday, they were actually, I think, buy one, get one 50%. So it was her opportunity to grab these. Look at these things. Humongous books. And yeah, we love dragons, love fantasy. And those are the last two books. So that is the very long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry I didn't know all the little details of every single book, but like I said, a lot of these are my wife's. A lot of these were gifts. Next time I'll try and do a little more research into every book. But I also was on the fence about it because this video could have easily been 45 minutes to an hour long with how many books it is. I hope that this was decent. Let me know in the comments if next time I should go into more depth on every video and make a longer one, or if you want me to just hold them each up, make it a short video. You just want to see what books I got. And let me know which book you are most excited for me or my wife to read, if you've read them, and what you rated them. I hope you all have a great week.